Is it on?
Yeah, it's right.
Right, this is the right. Blah. This is the Clockwork Orange Ibiza 2016 Clockumentary. Ibiza Discovered. It's not just about Clockwork Orange. It's about Ibiza and about the Ibiza we love. Yeah, not about the.
It's about the island we love.
Yeah, it's about the island we love. That's it.
So, where did it all start for us? I first met Danny in 1992, I think it was. We used to go to a club called Naked Lunch, which was a really good club back in the day. One night he was getting thrown out by the security for getting caught, and he just threw a bag of something to my mate and said, "Look after this for me, basically, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks," sort of thing. So my mate had a good night, and it all started from there really. So you know, we all used to hang about in Hollywoods in Romford as well. So that's another place where we all sort of knew each other. We was all Essex boys. I always wanted to do a party. I had the idea of starting a night. So we came up with a concept of doing a night, and we were looking. I had a mate that I was doing it with. And we wanted to get someone involved who was a bit of a man about town and knew everyone, and obviously that was Mr. Gould. And we were like, "Come on Dan, come and do a party with us," and he was a bit like, "I'm not really too sure about it," sort of thing. And we were like, "Come on, that'd be wicked." And that was really how it was born. The way we came up with the name, we was all in London looking around for ideas in shops, and we went into like one of these scenographic shops that basically that sold all the pictures and stuff like that. And we were like having a look around, and someone pulled out this picture of the glass from Clockwork Orange with the teeth in it and the bowler hat, and we all just looked at each other and went, "Oh yeah man, it's got to be Clockwork Orange."
I remember when I went into West Paradise, I kind of blagged my way in there saying that I could put events together, and well, I could put events together, but I had to find really good stuff to fill up the club. And initially, I think it was a chat I had with Brandon Block, and Clockwork Orange came up, and I know they've thrown a few parties in London, and they were really up for coming over to Ibiza. So back in the day, before we had internet and before we had anything else, we just had fax machines. So Danny and Andy at the time was working at NatWest Bank and sent me a fax from his office. I still have that fax somewhere. I think it's desperately fading, as are we all. And then they came over for a chat, and before we knew it, we'd signed up for a summer with Clockwork coming into West Paradise. I even remember when the guys first flew over, they stayed with me for a few days before they found their first villa, where they entertained lots of after parties, of which I don't believe I went to one. And if I'm completely honest, they did something very new in the sense that they really became friends with everyone. It was almost that time when promoters became as famous as DJs were becoming. In fact, I think at that time the promoters, there was more focus on them than the actual DJs. And what they have managed to do right up to this day is maintain that. They're still very much in charge. The DJs are not in charge when it comes to Clockwork. Clockwork are in charge of the DJs.
Clockwork Orange!
Just standing there with a drink in me, and I was like, "Well, we created this." See, we came out in 1994 doing parties. We were 22 years old. Your jaw's going all over the place. And you really, honestly, the thing is, the generator broke down earlier on for the lights. If I had an elastic band and fixed it to your jaw, you could power that to such like maximum horsepower that we wouldn't need any generator. And it cost me so. Imagine that, what you've just paid, £10. It's more than what this costs like in 3 days. You know what I mean? Of course you can. Go on, how many of you?
And I remember a younger looking Danny, better looking now than he is then, coming out, greeting me at the door, getting me in the club. My first ever Ibiza night that I'd been to at Paradise. Lost my mate, made friends with everyone in the club. Saw Danny on the way out, and yeah, that was kind of like my first ever experience of even being in Ibiza.
And this guy, I was telling him how I've been putting all this stuff on Facebook, all these YouTube old Clockwork videos, all my old pictures and all the albums, and it got everyone going. And I was doing it, and I was speaking to Andy, and Andy said, can you feel it yet? And I went, do you know what? He went, do you fancy it yet? And I went, do you know what? I said, I think I do. And I got that buzz back for it. Just overnight, just straight away, boom, I had the buzz back. I yearned for them days, but I never ever thought that we would come back to Ibiza. I never ever thought. Check him out, the crazy hippie trying to not get run off the road. Bob Marley on a bike. And that first beach party that we did, 800 people, 850, 900, I don't know. And I was dancing on that beach to Trevor Funk playing some like right old schooly acid kind of beats. And I turned around to a friend of mine and I went, I feel like I'm off my head. And I'm sober, I'm clean and sober, I'm 13 years clean and sober.
If you hadn't been to one of these new, the newer Clockwork things, you'd kind of think, oh yeah, well, Clockwork back in the day. But it's not Clockwork back in the day, it's Clockwork plus 10 turbocharged. It's not just a nightclub anymore, it's actually it's a community, it's people, talking about what they're going to do, what they're going to wear, it's people getting excited, people actually looking after each other, making sure, like someone's lost a phone, I mean, it's a sense of community around Clockwork Orange has been immense.
Clockwork Orange has been, I can't really explain what it's turned into since it was reborn in just over 4 years ago now. It's just madness. People like telling me, look, they like thanking me and saying they never thought they'd ever be able to relive, and go out and capture what they had back in the day. It's the closest I've ever come to my first raving days back in 87, 88 when it all started.
I think when you've lost something, which is very similar to my sobriety, I had everything and I lost everything. And because I was a different person, because I was now sober and clean, I could truly put into the parties what I'd always wanted to put into it without anything getting in the way, i.e. chemicals, potions and powders. So all the energy was going into the party, into organising the party, arranging the party, being the party. Me and Andy are found at the front of the party. We've always said that, we always will be, we always have been.
Wouldn't work if it wasn't bringing out, and like I say, because so many people physically come out to the event as well. It's like a pilgrimage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's concentrated. It's concentrated clockwork. It's like, you either get the chatty shitty orange juice or you get the proper orange juice. The diluted, what's that stuff that all the kids used to drink, make them go mad, full of sugar?
Cura.
No, not Cura, I knew he was going to say Cura. That stuff that everybody was drinking before.
Sunny D.
Oh, Sunny D! It's probably full of chemicals and like the madness, but no, we're that concentrated stuff that, you get from out here. There's the beautiful stuff, and it's concentrated clockwork.
The atmosphere on Friday was phenomenal, it was brilliant. But then when you saw the Sunday, 1,500 people dancing on the beach, going nuts. I mean, literally the amount of people when you're walking through, people are hugging you, there's photos going on. I mean, that's not just as a DJ, I mean as a clockworker. And it was just phenomenal. I mean, it just, without sounding like an old Ibiza hippie, I mean, the amount of love in that room and on that beach was insane.
I love how, Clockwork 8-9 years ago went away, but it's come back. And no one's done that in the music world. And I think the great thing about it is that even though the punters as well stopped coming to Ibiza, they're back as well.
It's about the people who come to our parties, come back to Ibiza, the older crowd, because they love this island. I adore this island. I drive along with the tunes on, with the roof off, in the week leading up to the party, and I've got tears in my eyes.
Clockwork was, what can I say, it's inspirational. The party that I run now is kind of, everything that we do is kind of, we're inspired by Clockwork Orange, and kind of what they've done for the scene over the last 21, 22 years now.
Pay for one gig, and out of that one gig, you then get 3 other gigs which are free. You get all the photos free, you get all the videos free, you get free fans. You know, it's like, what's all that about? That's our contribution back to Ibiza. There's even a guy who comes to Clockwork by the name of Danny Robinson. He runs a company called Romax Solutions. It's a recruitment company. And for his staff working hard throughout the year, he rewards them by coming to Clockwork in Ibiza. He puts on their beds, puts on their drinks, puts on their flights, puts on their accommodation. He gets a table at Sankey's, he looks after them, he gets the beds. And I think that's just such a magical thing to do for his employees. I said, why does he do it? And he said, oh, I love Clockwork, and they love Clockwork.
Brandon and Alex and Paul hugging and Danny, it's just, you know, there's a lot of love even between the DJs. I mean, and that's a genuine thing. I think we're all excited to be back together.
You know what, the first time I came to Ibiza, the very first two DJs I ever saw were these two. Make some noise for Brandon Block and Alex B!
It's this place that created Clockwork in 1994, and it's this place that again that's recreated Clockwork. Why do we keep getting drawn back to Ibiza? Why do we love it so much? Because if you really truly get Ibiza, it's the magic. There's a magic in Ibiza, so if you've got a magic in Ibiza and you put a magic party on top of that, then it's just mind-blowing.
Last week in Ibiza, I was lucky enough to hit club for the daytime party they'd done, and yeah, I literally, from the minute I got there to the minute I left, I was sober. For me, was the best party I've been to in Ibiza in the last 10 years. The crowd was my age and older. Everyone was happy, everyone was smiling, everybody was cuddling. The music was just out of this world, taking you all the way back to a kind of 80s, 90s classic house. People like Alex P, Brandon Block, all the legends there. No big overpriced diva DJs demanding stupid things. Everyone there was there for the love of house music, and yeah, it's what it's about for me. It's what my passion is, house music, and I think Clockwork Orange, everyone in the industry should look up to these guys, and you know, they've really set a benchmark, you know, in Ibiza. Well, I'd say across the world as well in terms of chucking house music parties, yeah.
But also I found that when you add a little bit of love to your post and you say, you know what guys, you are more than just a nightclub. This is a family. And this is something that me as a DJ, I'm looking forward to going to, probably just as much as people that have been booking their flights a year in advance. I mean, once you do that on Facebook and you show, you know, the little bit of love, and it showed that we're all in this together. I mean, those Facebook posts, you know, they get like 600, 700, 800 likes.
All those nights, that 11 months that I spend, or 10 months that I spend in England, where the weather's rubbish, it's raining, it's cloudy, it's damp, there's no summer. The winter seems to stretch from April until April the next year. We have 2 days and we all rush outside. We buy all this garden equipment that goes all damp and soggy because we don't get to use it. And straight away I went, no. Because we come here, we bring Clockwork here, and the reason why we bring Clockwork here to Ibiza is because we love it. We've worked on it for a year and we created something so special that it was beyond anything we did back in the day. 1998 will never be surpassed in my memory of like all the parties that we've done in Ibiza. It was absolutely unbelievable. But we recreated that just this weekend gone. And not only did we recreate it, it's now topped with all the things I spoke about earlier on. The crowd that we got, which is so unique. It's called the Orange Army. You want to be part of it, you've got to be everything positive. It's who you are as a person, how much you're going to smile, how much you're going to enjoy yourself, how much you're going to dance, how much you're going to jump up and down, how much you're going to scream, how much you're going to whoop, and how much you're going to whistle. Unless you can cuddle someone, unless you can bump into someone and say, I'm really sorry mate, and smile at them and say, can I buy you a drink? Or shake their hand, or the knuckles, or the high fives, or the cuddles. That's what we're all about. That's what Clockwork's all about now.
There's something really special about the place. I don't know what it is, I don't know what draws me to it, but I will be coming here, I will live here one day, that's for sure.
In 2001, when it all finished, I never would have thought that we'd have created something so special and so amazing as what we've recreated again.